I'm not going to sit here and pretend I was innocent. I made mistakes. I got mixed up with the wrong people, and for a while I started going down a road I had no business going down. One night, they said they were going to break into this house and steal whatever they could find. They wanted me to come with them. I remember thinking about what could go wrong. What if we got caught? What if somebody inside had a gun? I thought about that. But what I didn't think about, what never crossed my mind, not once, and never would have in a million years, is what actually happened. The house sat off by itself at the end of a gravel drive. No neighbors close enough to see a flashlight. There was a truck parked around back, older, covered in a tarp like nobody had driven it in a while. We figured whoever lived there was gone for the weekend. That's the only reason we went in at all. It was me, Danny, and Cole. Danny picked the lock on a side door in about 10 seconds flat. We let ourselves in quiet, one at a time. The kitchen was normal, almost too normal. Dishes in the rack, calendar on the wall still turned to the right month. A little musty, the way any closed-up house gets, but nothing that made you think twice. It was the basement door that got us. It wasn't locked, but there was a deadbolt on it, high up, the kind you'd install if you wanted to keep somebody out of a room in your own house, or keep something in. Cole went down first. I heard him go quiet, and quiet from Cole was never a good sign, 'cause Cole never shut up. That's when the smell hit us, the kind of smell that makes you choke up a little. Danny said, "Something's dead down there." Cole said it was probably just the septic. So, in the basement, you never know, it could be, I guess. Anyway, we went down. Down there it was laid out like a workshop. A table with a plastic sheet stapled over it. Edges crusted dark. A pegboard on the wall. Every tool hung in its own spot. Except every single one of those tools had the same dark stains worked into the handle. Not rust. We all three stood there long enough to know it wasn't rust. There was a shoebox sitting on a shelf above the table. Cole grabbed it down before either of us could say anything and popped the lid off right there. Inside were driver's licenses, wallets, a watch, a hair clip. Things a person keeps, not things a person steals to sell. Danny picked one of those licenses up without thinking and just stared at it. He said,
"I know this girl."
"This is Rachel. She went to our school. She's been missing for 2 years." Danny set the license down like it had burned him. "Okay, this is messed up, bro. We need to get out of here." I was already turning for the stairs, but Cole didn't move. He was staring at the chest freezer against the far wall, big enough for a whole side of deer, padlocked shut. Cole said, "No, we need to see." That's the part I still think about more than almost anything else that happened that night. Not the room, not what we found in it. Just that split second where Danny wanted out and Cole wanted in. And I stood between them not saying anything, because some part of me wanted to see too. I've never liked what that says about me. Cole found a bolt cutter right there on the pegboard, like it was left out for exactly that purpose. And before either of us could stop him, he'd already cut the lock and had the lid halfway up. There were 3 of them down there. folded down small the way you'd have to in order to make them fit. The one on top was wearing a green hoodie, still zipped up to the collar, like whoever put her in there had taken the time to zip it first. I don't know why that's the detail that stuck. That did it. Nobody had to say, "Get out" this time. Danny was already moving for the stairs, and Cole moved right with him. And I was right behind both of them when we heard the truck. Gravel under tires, slow, like whoever it was wasn't in a hurry. Because why would they be? It was their own house. We heard the engine cut off, a door open and shut. Easy, unbothered footsteps coming through the same side door we'd let ourselves in through 20 minutes earlier. Cole killed the flashlight. The three of us stood in that basement in the dark next to that freezer, and I never in my life heard anything as loud as my own heartbeat in that moment. The footsteps came through the kitchen above us, slow, even. A man humming something under his breath, low, like it was any other night coming home from work. Then they stopped, right above the basement door. Danny bolted first, straight past the man's legs and up through the gap by the stairs before he could swing, and I don't know how he didn't get hit, but he didn't. Cole and I went for the small window at the far end of the basement, the kind that's really only meant to let light in. And I will never forget Cole shoving me through it first, and then reaching back down for him because the man was already halfway down those stairs. I felt the hatchet missing by enough when I heard it hit the wood door frame instead of him. A sound I still hear sometimes, flat and heavy, like a fist on a table. We ran across that yard in the dark, not looking back, not one of us, all the way to the truck, and Danny had it running before Cole and I even had the doors shut. I don't remember the drive home. I remember my hands were a little shaky for 2 days after. For 2 days I told myself it wasn't my problem. Then I stopped sleeping. Every time I closed my eyes, I thought about that room. I thought about what we found in there. And worse than that, I thought about the possibility that by staying quiet, I was letting him do it again. So I called it in. Not the brave way, not the right way. I called from a gas station payphone 6 towns over, gave them the address, told them to check the basement, and hung up before they could ask my name. I don't know what came of it right away. Weeks went by, and I checked the paper the whole time. Nothing ever showed up. And I started to think maybe they went out there and found nothing, or maybe they never went at all. Then, about 4 months later, I saw a short article, just a few lines buried on an inside page. A man had been arrested 2 counties over, charged, and enough in those few lines to know it was him. No mention of a shoebox or a freezer or a phone call by a gas station, just an arrest. That's the only time I've ever let myself believe the call mattered. The house burned down a good while after that, after he was already caught, already gone. By then it didn't matter what was left inside it. I don't know who did it or why. Could have been nobody. Could have been somebody who knew exactly what that place was and just wanted it gone. But I know he was in custody, and I know he wasn't out there anymore, and some nights that's enough to let me sleep, and some nights it isn't.